It is currently 4:40 p.m. This is the appearance of light. That's the location where it's appearing is speaking to how impossible it is to even see it in the first place. This is the shadow of patio furniture, the metal rack that's on the opposite side of the shadow of the of the patio that has a covered structure. So this would be shade. This would all be shaded amongst what is the natural environment, and it would also be shaded because the sun wouldn't be idle at the same location, which is outside of this defendant Tracy Banks' apartment, where she is gang stalking me inside of her own residence. She's engaged in ongoing harassment and domestic terrorism with the state, and this engineered light that's touching her patio furniture, that's appearing, the shadow of it's upright, and it's also at a lower elevation. The actual metal rack is this tall, and it's elevated, it's decreased in its height as the engineered light touches it, and the shadow of that engineered light is appearing on the patio glass door. This is what her co-defendants who are gang stalking me with her are doing when they're pacing outside and their shadows are moving across her patio glass door. They do so as an entity that's keeping one person, that is myself, under surveillance, and they're demon possessed to do so. It is also speaking to in the reference to the impossible, as you see the video above, that's happening at the same time at 4:40 p.m. where there is no sunlight. That's none of this manifestation of light has anything to do with the natural environment, where at this time of year the sun is in a location, in an area, and in its zenith over the top of my head in a different region, in a different county, where the pattern of conduct of the supernatural is regularly documented, which is what is referenced above on March 23rd, 2024 at the same time, 4:40 p.m., which is why I started this video. This is where you're going to see impossible light activity, as I'm referencing at 4:35 p.m. This has nothing to do with sunlight that remains inside of the defendant's apartment. The shadow of the furniture, this lamp is appearing on the ceiling. That is, again, the absurdity of the light activity. It's speaking to the apartment. It's filled with illumination of light, and that's what this is as well. You can see as I use my camera, there is light that is being aimed, and this is similar to the entity gang stalking, while the fake sun is the means where the sunlight is so vibrant. The sun is reflecting off of a windshield, and that's creating perfectly aimed light that's illuminating the defendant's apartment. It's not an actual reflection. That's not even the sun. It's not going to be the result when the sun is reflecting off of an object. These are demons and a demonic environment, and you're looking at what is the ongoing maintenance of engineered light, aiming on the patio glass door, removal, and then aiming back on the patio glass door, removal, and this is the ongoing pattern of conduct. While again, this is a psychopath that is both by definition gang stalking her own relative and also engaged in real-time monitoring, and this is actually a seething demon that's using this person. This person is identified as the defendant Tracy Banks, but this is demon possession. The timing that she goes into the kitchen to turn on the kitchen light, it's simultaneous with my documenting the current state of affairs inside of her apartment. As I'm getting the images at 4:29 p.m., 4:29 and 14 seconds, 4:29 and 18 seconds, 4:29 and 22 seconds, where I'm getting this light activity that's in the same position it was at 7:52 in the morning, by the way. And then you have, again, coming out and turning on the light is a method of light activity and getting in the path. She's walking in engineered light. Engineered light fills her apartment, which is what I'm documenting. This is the shadow of my hand as I hold up to get the light activity inside of her apartment, okay? Which is, again, speaking to the P.O.C. All right, this is in reference to the pattern of conduct that this same entity, including the defendant, Tracy Banks. All right, this is, again, a sex offender. This is a dangerous psychopath with a murderous appetite. Somebody that is gang stalking myself with the criminal intent to criminally defame, to steal and get away with stealing, and also in concert with the state, and also engage in what is kidnapping with the state. So you're looking at the very low creation of the shadow of this metal rack on the opposite side of the patio. All right, this is all covered. This is, again, necessarily requiring that the sun is at such a specific angle after remaining over, for example, in the video that I referenced at 8:56 in the morning, captured this month, that the sun would be still over in any location to create any sort of sunlight, but also at this angle underneath the covered structure, so powerful that it's creating shortened versions of shadows of furniture that are on the patio, and it's got engineered light that's appearing underneath the shade. This is indeed a demon, okay? This is a demon. Again, this is the entity that is gang stalking me, and this is the identification of such documentation with simultaneity to the operation of my device. While I take pictures, the demon is arriving in concert with the demons that are outside pacing along with her in the sky space as well. This is the purpose of Ontario International Airport's engagement at federal group stalking and monitoring. It's a massive sex offense while the entity is engaging in this, and this is exactly what's underway while you're looking at what is light activity. That is where the entity is gang stalking by driving in the parking lot, walking in the parking lot, living in their apartments, flying over the venue, driving all around the venue, shopping at the 7-Eleven across the street. This is massive surveillance. And it's also satanic. And while you see this light activity, this is relevant with regard to what's happening on the same day at the same time. When you're looking at the light source here, that's 8GEN 638, gang stalking in the path, listening to everything that I'm stating as I say it, stepping in the path of my camera with knowledge that I am in this, getting this vantage point. This is mental illness. And Tracy Banks has the same mental illness. They're all demons, and their mental illness is that of psychopaths who are targeting together. And it is directly relevant with regard to the criminal conduct of the psychopaths, the sex offenders in Los Angeles at the same time.
All right, I want to document what is Alexei Zagar, impossible light activity across building number 1802 while he's crossing path. This is grounds of what is a mental institution for punishment. That's terrorism of the target individual. This is what the people of the state routinely engage in. AGJC 179, impossible light is moving across the dumpster and across his vehicle. 9CYE 154. This is P.O.C. He was also monitoring with the LAPD the other day under the light source, and he's engaging in the ongoing act of terrorism. The people of the state engage in what is crossing path. They're stalking you in the path and surrounding with engineered light. The entity is criminal summoning, sounding walking around, and then later you have moments later what is the entity engaging in what is hitting surfaces with engineered light under what's not even the sun. License 6MFK661. She's the one going to federal prison. She's engaged in an act of obstruction of justice on camera. While I'm documenting, the entity is doing so, and this is what LAPD follows moments later. So I want to be clear, I'm going to go ahead and document her right now because she's not even parked while she's crossing path. Hi, you know you can't park here, right?
Yeah, I just gotta get something real quick.
Oh, just for a moment? Okay, that's fine. This is the one that's crossing path on camera while I'm documenting. The entity likes to do that because, and they don't have, understand, ordinarily the target individual, it does not have the ability to identify what's going on, and you basically have no materials. You probably can't even articulate, you know, and this is why I feel for the ordinary target individual, because the people of the state engage in, oh, I'm just walking by, I'm not even focused on you, I don't even know your name. It's supposed to be the appearance of what is singularly maintained by somebody who's a paranoid schizophrenic. Okay, but for the documentation showing the specific environment, but for the documentation showing the stalking conduct of the state directly, all right, and but for a body of evidence that is showing that which is beyond any coincidence and everything that is outside of out of my control. Okay, you got the Ontario PD, and that's just one, Ontario PD and LAPD. That stalking conduct in and of itself beyond my control, and I have a body of evidence I can prosecute just on that. All right, and this is P.O.C. Hey, Alexi, how's it going? This is also crossing a path, not only on foot, but also on vehicle, and impossible light across the venue of 1802 while I'm in my office, okay? And these are psychopaths that are targeting you while they outwardly want to appear as though they're just, oh, I'm just minding my business. I'm just crossing path. What you're looking at is demonic. So driving in, engineered light, walking in, walking out, this is demonic pacing. This is what LAPD is doing while flying in a circle. This is pacing in the engineered light. This is what the demons do as amongst a group. A psychopath.
AE33594, U-Haul is going to be prosecuted. U-Haul is a third party engaged in the pattern of conduct. They're providing instrumentalities of federal group stalking and monitoring to the population, such as using the truck. These are all sex offenders living under a fake sun at an apartment complex. They're all stalking in violation of the Violent Against Women Act. This is getting in the path. They're the same ones under this fake sun at 8:56 in the morning, and they're intentionally doing so right now as well. Walking in engineer light that's manifesting in the shade, intentionally doing so as well, while they're being documented for what is domestic terrorism and psychological torture. Those that are not natural born citizens, gang stalking in an environment that is irreconcilable with the environment where LAPD is routinely gang stalking, they are going to be subject to what is deportation. All right, those that are in this country and have been granted the privilege, they are going to be subject to deportation upon prosecution, just just like everyone else is going to be prosecuted, but those that have been given some sort of basis to be here and pursue the American dream, it doesn't include to engage in federal group stalking and monitoring with Tracy Banks, all right, who was inside of the apartment under the idle light source that is still here after 5 p.m. in perfect alignment with the defendant's patio glass door. You're looking at where the fake sun is on this day at the same time where the mental health patients in Unit 41 engaged in demonic pacing, getting in front of me. This is a method of very diligent timing of demons who know every move that I'm doing, so they're already in position in the event that I walk outside and get the license plate, okay? Getting in the path, walking into the unit, very easily identified with regard to the prosecution of the entity that is targeting together. That targeting conduct and stalking is identified in an environment that defies nature, such as the sun, at the same time over me in Los Angeles at what is Alvarado Gardens, in the same manner that I'm showing you here, and also the pattern of conduct of the sun rising over me at my apartment at Alvarado Gardens in Los Angeles, and the sun rising over me at Woodside Senior Apartments where the defendant Tracy Banks resides, a mental health patient just like the demon possessed who are gang stalking with her, and her impunity is exhibited while I'm documenting her today as she remains inside of the venue and engaging in what is ongoing harassment and terrorism tactics, okay? POC.
Path, one person is doing it. You're only seeing one person do this as a group. They're accomplishing this as one group, one after another, crossing path. That's what's happening right now, okay? And again, the obsessed stalker continues to stalk you while you enforce your rights. That's why the people of the state are going to be subject to that federal prosecution. That's why, okay? Because the obsessed stalker doesn't know how to stop. So the federal government is going to enforce the rights of the target individual to the furthest extent that the state has not even fathomed, okay? And it goes beyond the basic things, and I mean basic. It's basic to be subject to federal prison, okay? I'm seeking the federal prosecution of the people of the state is going to exceed the basic things that I have advocated. And you're seeing how and why it's necessary. All right, it's 4:44 p.m. This is the maintenance of the light source. Look at the documentation on April 29th.
And right now it is 4:51 p.m.
Look at it on April 30th. There's a whole body of evidence of what's not possibly the sun. This is prefacing everything that they're engaging in. All right, this is P.O.C. Again, this license plate, she's going to federal prison. She's affiliated with 1812 North Alvarado Street, apartment number 1, Precious Bastillos. They like to monitor with minors. 6 MFK 661. That's also relevant to the ways in which she's going to federal prison for facilitation, okay, while she's crossing path. She likes to engage in federal stalking, which is a violent sex offense with children. Understand the significance, as are all the people, because they're all monitoring with kids. But her specifically, that's exactly what they're doing at 1812 number 1. Those are the means whereby they're engaging in criminal facilitation with the LAPD, who provided a wealth of evidence against her, flying over, threatening my life while I'm capturing the entity.
All right, and so this is what is recognizing stalking, as they are in the same circumstance which defies nature. The people of the state driving the U-Haul, the people of the state with license 8GEN 638, the people of the state in unit number 41, the people of the state at the venue altogether, Woodside, the people of the state that are inside of this bedroom right now, coming in to gang stalk as I use my communication device, for example. This is the demon herself coming out and engaging in the elements of monitoring in close proximity. And the shared circumstance of being under the sun is that which is recognizing the malice of the corrupt entity that is engaged in what is gang stalking, referred to as federal group stalking monitoring. It's a circumstance that defies nature. It is impossible to occur. And you're also mindful of what I documented hours ago. While the same unit 41, is engaging in the pattern of conduct in this same defendant's unit at 2 o'clock, where I'm showing you the fake sun that's still over the same apartment that's on this day remaining over me in Los Angeles was reflecting off of the windshield of the same co-defendants inside of the same parking lot. This is captured at 2:26 p.m. where I'm showing you what is the state of the covered light source. You're looking at the maintenance of engineered light. All it's doing is cycling all day long inside of the defendant's apartment and underneath the covered structure. The purpose of the engineered light is ongoing surveillance and activity creation, where all the entity is doing, a whole population is just concentrated on what I am doing as I do it, and I happen to be also engaged in documentation. All right, and their mental illness with regard to that level of malice and that level of what is entirely demented to even engage in it in the first place. And the government, the state of California, has a whole intricate system that also relies on unconstitutional laws that they exercise authority under in order to kidnap and criminally defame American citizens. That's speaking of mental illness. That is psychopathic. okay? That's speaking to malice, not insanity where one doesn't know what they're doing and doesn't understand what they're doing and doesn't recognize how they're violating another. This is a psychopath that's gang stalking. As you could see the fake sun reflecting off of a windshield in the same parking lot 2 hours earlier.
What is the interlocking with light under what would be an idle fake sun, and also the impossible occurrence that sunlight is created.
All right, he walks through what is light that's horizontally aimed right onto the same patio glass door, and this is accomplishing the same purpose as having the fake sun in some sort of supernatural system whereby it rises in alignment to this apartment, it sets in alignment to this apartment, and all manner of whatever the position of the sun is, it's always in alignment to this apartment, even while I show you the phenomenon of the pattern of conduct of that environment is in Los Angeles, even at the same time, like in this video, but also that the sun is remaining in Los Angeles, never deviating from being over me in LA, even on a cloudy day. At what point the clouds move around or move away, that fake sun is over the top of my head. And the two are not happening. For it to be the case, which I'm documenting, it requires what is a mutual zenith, what is a mutual placement of more than one sun. The entity is engaging in behaviors suggesting that the sun is ubiquitous, meaning the sun is like the sky. It's over all of us everywhere in the same manner for the duration of the day, and that is not the sun. Okay, this is the entity gang stalking under a fake sun, knowing exactly, just like this same apartment full of demons. The unit 41 is what's walking on the sidewalk in front of me in the course of this video into their apartment, gang stalking under the same fake sun that you see reflected, and I put that in air quotes because the actual fake sun isn't in a position to reflect off of the windshield. This is the demonic. This is entirely demonic, and it's demonic while this demon walks through it to create light activity in the course of the video.
Bouncing off of vehicles, and that you're walking in it, creating light activity like the demons are outside. So that's AVANATH capital management, that's gang stalking, and I want to be clear, this environment is present for the psychological torture of the gang stalkers in units 33 through 64 who act with the population.
That is for the engagement, the joint engagement, the corporate engagement in psychological torture by those that both reside and come onto the grounds. Operating a U-Haul vehicle, U-Haul is a third party. If you are providing anything that is used with regard to domestic terrorism where the government's operating that program, that third party is going to be prosecuted. The entity is gang stalking as a matter of what are facilitating venues. I've documented the facilitating venue of U-Haul. They're not innocent, as I'm pointing to the P.O.C. Gang stalking me at Alvarado Gardens, I've already documented via the people of the state. And U-Haul is essentially the commercialized means of the people of the state, and they will be held accountable for that. And AVANATH is accountable for the people of the state acting with the population, coming onto the grounds, gang stalking an occupant, gang stalking, as I am in Los Angeles, a resident and the manager subject to this gang stalking system, which the same defendant, Tracy Banks, in whose apartment I remain subject to it, amplified noise while this demon-possessed gang stalker, this person that relies on witchcraft as a way of life, Tracy Banks, at 4:56 p.m., as I'm reciting the fact that U-Haul shall be civilly and criminally liable, amplified booming is heard inside of the defendant's apartment. That's pointing to her mindset, that's pointing to her criminal activity.
Environment that is demonic, that defies nature. It's a scientific phenomenon. They're doing it with the defendant inside of her bedroom, gang stalking me and monitoring my devices, and engaging in what is criminal interference with quiet enjoyment while you look at what is the practice of witchcraft. Okay? Look at the demon's shadow. That's called impossible light activity, okay? That's also a sex offender that monitors the genitalia between my legs. That's AVANATH capital management, demon-possessed employee. Right there in 41, and he walks out.
Going right into the same apartment. That's what the same household did on video right now, where the fake sun is in the same position as I start this video at 4:40 p.m. when you're looking at what is this video evidence in Los Angeles, where there is no provision that the sun would ever be over Woodside Senior Apartments on the same day at the same time. Also, the sun is under no circumstances anywhere remaining over one apartment, over one address, which is the pattern of conduct that I've captured amongst psychopaths like the defendant that resides in the unit where I remain subject to this criminal system. And it is this psychopath that is gang stalking where I am inside of her apartment, subject to amplified audible activity, stalking via noise, subject to impossible light activity, stalking via light, and she is literally stalking in the path as the system of federal group stalking monitoring is identified. And with regard to her state action, this is not a private citizen, this is not a private residence. She's gang stalking with the state inside of her residence, and that's speaking to a mental health condition as a matter of fact. Okay, this is somebody that is also a violent sex offender, monitoring me with males and females, both inside and outside of the venue. They're gang stalking together with this psychopath inside of the apartment. And the more that I publish about her criminal activity while she's gang stalking in the apartment today, the more violent she's becoming with regard to her harassment methods by a psychopath who is engaged in the utmost means of what is passive aggressive behavior. Very psychopathic, very, very disturbing. All right, but I want to make sure that that's clear. And that psychopathic personality is proven through the fake sun, the engineer light, and the gang stalking tactics by her co-defendants, Woodside Senior Apartments and AVANATH Capital Management. All right, the light source that's remaining over Los Angeles at the same time is not the natural environment as I'm capturing it over me at Woodside Senior Apartments. The two that you see here, this is not the one sun. This is also not the natural environment, and it's the P.O.C. as I'm documenting on an ongoing basis in Los Angeles, and I'm documenting as I remain subject to it here in Ontario, California. It is again currently now it's 5 p.m. This is P.O.C. Crossing a path, activity creation, and engineer light. I'm doing so while the light activity is appearing, speaking directly to the malice, the desire to murder, the desire to steal, the desire to criminally defame, and all of the instances documented with regard to the corrupt courts, gang stalking with the defendant. They are going to prison as well. Okay, this is the entity where the sun is over in Los Angeles. This is no product of any sunlight. It's pointing directly to the demented mind state of the malicious psychopaths who are gang stalking. All right, it is currently again 5 p.m. This is P.O.C.